I want you to look at this picture. It says, heal thy neighbor. And I'm going to read from the Webster Dictionary. What is ethics? Ethics is the branch of philosophy that deals with morality. Ethics is concerned with distinguishing between good and evil in the world, between right and wrong human actions, and between virtuous and non-virtuous characteristics of people. Ethics is the same as the basic concept and fundamental principles of decent human conduct. It includes a study of universal values such as the essential equality of all men and women, human or natural rights, obedience to the law of the land, concern for health and safety, and increasingly also for the natural environment. My question is it ethical for countries to refuse refugees for war countries? The reason why I chose this subject is because I know this young boy that I met in a shop in the mall. I work close to the mall and I go there on my breaks and my lunchtime, and sometimes there's is I have to purchase something like a soda, Diet Coke, or something like that, and then I started talking to the clerk. Is like probably right now he's like 20 years old, and he told me that he is from Syria, and his family moved to United States like 4 years ago as refugees from this country. And he told me about their situation while they were refugees in a refugee camp, and he told me that it was very difficult, that sometimes they didn't have enough food, enough water, and told me that his parents are educated people. They had good jobs, but when the war started in Syria, they had to flee the country, and they were in that refugee camp for years. And he told me that finally they went to court, and United States gave them asylum. The reason why they were given asylum is because they are a family of six. They are educated and they had good jobs. So in order for countries to accept people that are in refugee camps, they go through a high scrutiny. They have to check all the records and make sure that they're not criminals or terrorists, and I understand that. But who is thy neighbor? We remember that when we saw the news, we saw the picture of the little boy whose body was washed out from the waters of Turkey, and it was an opening to our eyes that something was going on, and we all tried to help. I remember also that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints, they created this program. I was a stranger, and I remember that members of the church, especially women in the Relief Society, we were eager to help. We donated blankets, pillows, and all kind of first aid um, articles for the people that they were in need. But as everything is news, and we all want to help, but later on news become history, and we forget about these people that they're in need. So I want to tell you a little bit of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. It was created by the United Nations after First World ended in 1951, because a lot of people were displaced from their countries, and they felt that it was their moral responsibility to help those people to be placed in a third country because they lost their nationality, they lost everything. So after that, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees was formed. But now, after so many years, after so many wars, there's not only like 1,000 people that they're displaced. There are 14 over 14 million of people, and only 3 countries they have refugee camps outside their borders, which is Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey. And if you know, you remember that it's called the European crisis of the 21st century, because countries in the West, they don't want to take responsibility, they don't want to allow people from those term war countries and their countries. And one of the things for these people, sometimes they have to wait 17 years, a whole life, in order to be provided asylum. And they live in conditions that they're very, very bad because the United Nations High Commissioner for refugees is underfunded. They only have like, they can only supply like 49% of all the needs that for the people that they have there. That is millions. So what is going on is only 1% of these people they can be placed in a third country. And what happened to the rest of the people? Well, Professor Serena Parekh from the Northeastern University, and one of the studies she made in 2016, she said that many of the refugees they prefer to go back to their country of origin. They prefer civil war, like it's a third option for them instead of staying in those refugee camps, because the situation is really bad. They don't have any rights, they don't have health insurance, they can't work, they can't leave the camps, they can't do anything. There are the expenses of the humanitarian aid of the countries that they provide, or humanitarian groups or churches like the Church of Jesus Christ or Latter-day Saints. They continue helping. They help a lot of people, and I'm very proud of being a member of the church. But my point is that we need to take moral responsibility of this issue that is affecting so many people. And let's remember that not all the refugees from Syria or from those countries, they're terrorists, and not all or are bad people. There's people that they are educated, like in many other countries, and well, and my conclusion, I just want you to remember that there is still there, that there's millions of people that are suffering, and they are not bad people, they're not criminals, and we need to push the United Nations to create international laws to protect the more basic human rights for these people, because they are our neighbors. And also the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, they need to create international laws for protection and call for more help for these people. And also they need to call all the states in the world to take part of providing asylum to these refugees, because they are human beings like you and me. And I just want to end by asking you, next time you go to the mall and you go and buy something that you don't really need, just remember the 14 and something million million of refugees that are placed in those refugee camps.